This is truly a historic moment for us here in the Diocese of Grand Rapids, and it's with special joy that I welcome all of you tonight to this Vesper service as we prepare and as we ask God's special blessings upon our new diocesan bishop, Bishop-elect David John Walkowiak. I'm happy to welcome his family, his friends from Cleveland, and the many priests from the diocese, the bishops who have gathered here as well for this wonderful occasion. And as we gather, the reading from Romans that we heard today, in a certain sense, sets the stage, if you will, for what we are about to do, and in many ways the reading in itself is a way for us to reflect on the church and what we are called upon to do within the community of the church. For we are reminded that we are all one body in Christ. And I think that's a very important notion for us to realize. And especially in the years following the Second Vatican Council, there was a period of time as the church was looking to find a certain balance and involve people in more significant ways in the life of the church as to whose church it was. Did the church belong to the clergy? Did the church belong to the laity? And then eventually we decided the church really belongs to Christ. And it is in and through Christ that we have our unity, and it is that which draws us together. And yet within the community of the church, there are a variety of ministries that are to be carried out: the ministry of preaching, the ministry of prophecy, the ministry of governing, and so many other areas that are spoken to us in the reading from Romans today as well. So it is in that context that we gather today as we prepare to receive a new bishop and to have him ordained here in the Diocese of Grand Rapids for service to the church in the Diocese of Grand Rapids, that we are able to reflect on the fact that we are all one body in Christ, and that we recognize in a very special way the significance of the diocesan bishop in the life of the church. He is the pastor of the local church. He is the one who is called upon to draw us together. He is the one who is called upon to make sure we realize that we are one body in Christ, and that we all have gifts and ministries and gifts to offer, and that we somehow need to do that in communion with one another. In a certain sense, we live in a church that's somewhat polarized these days. Do you stand to the right? Do you stand to the left? And yet the challenge for us is to recognize not whether we are right or left, not whether we are liberal or conservative, but rather it is, are we one in Christ? And it is in that that we find ourselves being the church. And so this is an awesome task that our new bishop is being asked to carry out. It's one that is filled with God's grace and God's blessing. And it's one that we will be blessed by his presence and by the grace of his office as he works with us and lives it out on a day-to-day basis. So I'm happy to welcome all of you, and especially to welcome him as we prepare for his ordination to the episcopacy tomorrow here in this wonderful old cathedral. However, prior to anyone being raised to the episcopacy, there are certain requirements that the church has. And the one is that he must make a profession of faith before another bishop and take an oath of fidelity in anticipation of the ordination and installation as the 12th bishop of the Diocese of Grand Rapids. And so I'm going to invite Bishop-elect David John Walkowiak to come before us and to make that profession of faith and that commitment in assuming the office of bishop.